I will soar, I will fly, I will be everything I can be on this day and the next. I will soar, I will fly, I will be everything I can be on this day and the next. I will soar, I will fly, I will be everything I can be on this day and the next. I will soar, I will fly, I will be everything I can be on this day and the next. I will soar, I will fly, I will be everything I can be on this day and the next. Hello and welcome, my beautiful brothers and sisters on this beautiful, beautiful planet. Welcome to the Aquarian Adepts, my platform to become your spiritual server. This is a S.O.A.R tarot reading for today, the February 19th of 2018. I almost forgot the date there. Thank you for joining me on this reading, and let's see what is in store. So the target card that I drew earlier is actually that of guilt. Now, I don't think that we are supposed to be targeting guilt. I think we're supposed to be overcoming guilt, releasing guilt. We all do this to ourselves. We all guilt trip ourselves and others, but especially ourselves, because we're supposed to do this at this certain time. We wondered if we're supposed to make a different decision than we had in past situations. We wondered if, we'd all do this to ourselves. But guilt is one of the most destructive energies one can feel, because it holds them back in such a profound way. And we really, really can create a personal hell for ourselves by holding on to guilt. So I believe that the true target is overcoming and releasing guilt and learning to have more compassion for ourselves. As you can see, she has these hands coming out, and it's giving her a headache. It's giving her quite the migraine. Whatever it is that she feels guilty about, we have to learn to have mercy on ourselves and to have compassion. But we have to learn to overcome this guilt, to know that we are human, that we are imperfect, that we are learning, and that we are evolving. So yes, sometimes we're going to mess up. Sometimes, to put it bluntly, we're going to fuck up. But it is okay. It is okay. We can overcome that guilt. So let's see what's in store. So for the water card, what I have today. Okay. We have the miser. That's going to be for the S. All right. For the O, the obstacle, what I have. Okay. I have integration. Integration. Interesting. For the A, the actions. I have compromise. Interesting. I have compromise. And for the resolution, for the R, I have going with the flow. Wow, that's quite perfect. So let's see what is going on here. So for the S, the sensations that we are feeling is that this is in traditional tarot represented by the Four of Pentacles. So holding on to things. Now, as you can see, the character in this card seems pretty miserly, and they're holding on to these treasures, and they've kind of built up this wall, this barricade, so other people cannot come in and take what they believe is theirs. Now, ultimately, when we die, we give everything back. So this experience that we have here, we accumulate things, but then we ultimately have to give it back, right? But what this card is saying is that each and every one of us have been holding on to something, and I'm going to say it's the guilt that we've been holding on to. We've been holding on to guilt in some way. In some way, shape, or form, we've been holding on to guilt, and it has caused us to be quite miserly. So we need to learn, we need to first be able to sense that we are holding on to the guilt in the first place. We have to be able to sense it. And once we're able to sense it, we'll either stand up and not hold on to the guilt, or we'll just remain seated. We'll remain city where we are, and we'll hold on and hoard this guilt, whatever it is that we're holding on. Perhaps it's just a particular lifestyle that you're living. Perhaps it's people that you have been around and you need to get into a new groove. Perhaps it's a job that you have hold on to, but it's something that is causing guilt that we are all holding on to. That's the sensation. We need to be able to sense it first before we know what to do. The obstacle is whether or not we can integrate. So we have the yin and the yang. We have these duality, which comes together and creates the third, right? The Trinity. So the obstacle is whether or not we're going to have the courage to learn to integrate whatever it is that we know and feel deep within our hearts to integrate. The fact of the matter is that whatever it is that we feel guilty about holding on to, there's a reason why we're holding on to it. It's because in a strange sense, it actually gives us a sense of comfort. But on the other side of that comfort, there is the void of not knowing. But deep within our heart, we actually do know what to do. And whether or not we actually have the courage to learn to integrate the epiphanies that we will have, learn to integrate the newness and the new experiences that we are ultimately destined to experience. We'll have to learn how to integrate that wisdom of learning how to let go. There are certain things that we can hold on to, but there are certain things we have to learn to let go of. So this is the obstacle, actually learning how to integrate this into our lives, right? The action has to do with compromise, right? We have to compromise. We need to show compassion for ourselves and show compassion for others. But as far as whatever it is that we have to let go of, the guilt and whatever it is that we have to integrate, we need to compromise what works for us and what doesn't work for us. Perhaps if you are in a relationship and you're going through perhaps difficult times, but you still want to make things work, with whoever it is, romantic, platonic, business, we have to learn compromise. This is the action that you're going to have to take. Showing compassion for yourself, okay? So if there's something like, say you want to, become more physically fit, or you want to eat healthier, there has to be some type of compromise. Don't just go right in, unless you want to, just go right into a super healthy regime. But if there are certain things that you enjoy eating, then, just kind of mitigate it, just kind of slowly move more into a healthier lifestyle. Show compromise for yourself because you don't want to just put your body through that shock unless you really want to, unless you are really determined to do so. But compromise is the action that you're going to have to take because that's going to allow this transition to be a lot smoother. The ultimate resolution of this is really just going with the flow. And we are all going to have to do this. It is Pisces season now. The sun is in Pisces, which means that the veil between here in the spiritual realm is at its thinnest. Okay? So things are about to get weird, funky, crazy, and magical. That's what Pisces is. It's dreamy, and you're just floating in the sea of all the energy, and we're all going through this spiritual upgrade. We're all getting washed away of all of our guilt, really. That's what I feel. And if we actually take the action to compromise, and to show compassion for ourselves, if we actually overcome the obstacle in learning to integrate, we actually will be able to go with the flow. Because things are going to happen. Weird things are going to happen. Crazy things are going to happen. But it can be very, very magical. Learning to just go with the flow and stop trying to swim upstream. Instead, kind of go with the river, go downstream, go over the waterfall, go into the sea, and then that's where the true treasure is learning how to go with the flow. That's the resolution here. So just to recap, the sensation is that we are all holding on and hoarding on to something that is causing us guilt, right? And we need to learn how to let it go. We need to learn how to bring this barrier down. That also keeps out others. Because really, what you want to do is that if you find some type of treasure, you want to be able to share it with the world, right? Because you are that treasure, right? You are that treasure, but if you build up a wall, you're not going to be able to share it with other people. And that's honestly, they say that when you're kids, share your toys and stuff. We all have toys and gifts and powers, and we can't just hold them off. we have to be able to share with the world. That's what's going to bring that joy, because you want to be able to share. Well, who are you going to play with? The obstacle is actually, knowing that we have to integrate, that we all have light and dark within us, but learning to integrate and to be that eternal observer, to tap into that observer and know that, you know, things aren't necessarily happening to us. We are simply experiencing these things, but we can take the higher vantage point and know that we can make it through whatever it is, that we don't have to feel the guilt, that we can learn to compromise with ourselves and those around us so we can have, a better tomorrow, a better now, a better moment. That's really what it's about, learning to compromise and then going with the flow. And this isn't necessarily compromising your integrity either. Now, this isn't compromising your integrity. This is compromising as far as like, okay, what can I let go of? Then you go with the flow. Once you are able to go with the flow, this guilt will disappear. This guilt will disappear. You won't have to worry anymore. That fear, that those false expectations appearing real will disappear, and you won't have to hold yourself in this spiritual jail. This is Pisces season, after all, like I said, and it can be a very freeing and magical energy. But the other thing about Pisces energy is that it also rules jails and prisons. So oftentimes we can put ourselves in a spiritual prison, and we don't want that, right? We want to be able to go with the flow and learn how to integrate these magical energies so we may all upgrade, so we all may all have more compassion for ourselves and thus others, and we can create a better now. So that is your SOAR reading. I hope you all enjoy it. I hope you take this reading in whatever way it helps you, and I hope you fly and soar today. And just to go ahead and do a couple of announcements at the end of this. So my intention for this channel, as you can see, last week was kind of like my experiment as far as how to set up this channel, what I'm going to do. So my intention is to essentially do the SOAR readings every 5 days a week from Monday through Friday. And then on the weekend, I'm not going to do the SOAR readings, but if anything, if I make a video, it's probably going to be like some sort of like an informal vlog where I just talk about my experiences, my observations, and what's going on, and perhaps relay some type of message to you all, or maybe just simply just checking in. It doesn't have to necessarily be all super spiritual and esoteric, because sometimes I want to kind of bring things down and kind of ground it and just kind of express my humanness, essentially. So you can expect to see the SOAR readings Monday through Friday. This also will be the same for my Facebook posts and my Instagram posts. It'll just be Monday through Friday. The other thing that you could probably expect to see is that you probably will see just different series pop up on the channel in addition to the SOAR readings. I'm not sure when they'll come up. They'll probably just come up when I think about them. I have a couple ideas swirling around in my head as far as what I can do. The other thing is that I did have a website for the Aquarian Adepts before, and I deleted it. I'm thinking about making another one simply because I want to be able to provide readings for people, and that's ultimately what I want to do. I've been doing readings, but I don't have a website to do it out of them as of this moment. As you can see in the description below, I did say that I have a website coming soon. This website is actually for a serial fiction that I am writing, a serial novel that I am currently working on called Talisman, which is the other thing that I really enjoy doing outside of astrology and metaphysics is I love to write. As you can see, like I said, I have a poetry book that I have published on Amazon. The link for that is in the description below. But I'm also working on an online serial web novel. And eventually towards the end of the year, I will compile all my chapters and I will edit them and everything like that. But that was one of my dreams growing up, is being an author. And I stumbled across astrology, and I fell in love with it as well. So that's a part of it too. But yes, those are just some of the announcements at the end. And after all, like I said, I hope you all enjoy this reading. Know that you are able, know that you are beautiful, know that you are creative, know that you are divine, and know that you are energetic. And of course, remember to keep moving forward. Stay focused and Yahoo! Smile often. Ah!